I was battling the storm up and down them hills on #1 highway. My lungs were just burning. My legs were getting weak. That was my punishment.
Great. Can anyone hear me? So if I can get everyone's attention over here. Yeah, for those who are coming in, can you please go over to the table and make sure you're registering? There are snacks.
My name is Charlie Bittran from Berens River, born and raised. Went to day school up to grade 8, and in 1964, because my parents signed with the Indian Affairs to send me to a residential school.
Hello, everyone. Today we honor Charlie, one of the school survivors here, one of many who was actually able to make it home. We're going to be tracing the steps along Charlie's run, the 80-kilometer run that he had to take in a snowstorm at night as punishment from his principal. We're here to honor all the children that didn't make it home. We're here and we're walking for them.
I put a lot of thought about this walk all winter, this event today. We're wearing white because it represents us. We're humble people. We're peaceful people. We're pure-blooded people. White represents humbleness. That doesn't mean we're weak. It means that we're strong. I get very emotional when I look at that tree. But I have my children here. My grandchildren, my sons are here to supporting me. They never really knew the depth of my story. I kept this for many years. I had it in here. But today, as I said, we're going to do this walk. The governments have tried to destroy the First Nation people, the children. But for me, being a victim and a survivor, you had to live in there and be in there to see and experience how it was to be in a residential school. Before I left Berens River, we used to have sports days in Berens River, and I used to run quite a bit. So when I went to high school, I qualified to be in the cross-country team in our high school, Berdal Collegiate. From there on in, I was involved in sports. The school I went to had a big farm. Being one of the milkers, I had this helper, and this junior boy, his name was Bernal, and I kind of looked after him. There was this one cow, he had a calf, and happened to be a little bull. So Bernal and I raised this bull, looked after it, and the principal knew or seen that bull, how well it was looked after, and they started entering it into to the fairs. And this bull became a reserve champion, great grand champion of Manitoba. In '67, that bull, his name was Bobby, they entered him in Toronto Royal Winter Fair. So, the principal took Bernal and me to Toronto in November. Like right now as I'm walking here going west, my memory is just flashing back. And as I walk here, I'm starting to feel light. Like I'm not one bit tired. I feel like running. With all the support I'm getting from my family. They're walking the journey I took. They never knew about it. My grandkids never knew about it till now. Like as I said earlier, I had encouragement to tell my story. I know at times it's pretty hard to tell it. At times people deny, but I did it. But that's why I'm here, to remember the former students, the survivors, and the students that never made it home. Yeah, we're going to finish for the day, and then we'll carry on tomorrow. Finish our walk, finish our journey tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, we'll start.
Yeah, but they did that for half an hour, and they took what typical event too.
After the Royal Winter Fair, we got off the train here in Winnipeg. The principal met us there. It was about 5 o'clock in the evening. And there was a storm, a blizzard. After the Royal Winter Fair, as we were leaving Winnipeg, Bernal and I sit in the back seat, talking, laughing away. Bernal kind of released himself with the gas and stunk up the station wagon. The principal pulls over and he says, "Who done that? Get out of here." I said, "I did." Now he said, "You can run in front of the station wagon, kind of guide me." So he threw me out. I always protected Bernal. And that's why I took the blame, because I didn't know what kind of a punishment he'd get, so I took the blame. I didn't want to see him to get hurt or being punished. When he threw me out of that station wagon, I looked and there was this tree. And I was looking at that tree. I don't know why during that time I was looking at that tree, and I started running in front of the station wagon. And that was about 7 o'clock in the evening when I started running. And as I was running, I started to realize, hey, this guy is serious. And during that time, like I was battling the blizzard. You know, sometimes I kind of put my hand to my face because the snow was blowing and the wind was so strong. And here I am. Here I am battling with the blizzard. And my friend, my little buddy Bernal, he was telling me, he says, "I knew you were a marathon runner, he said, and I know, he said, you used to run. You could run 30 miles. But after 30 miles and beyond, he said, I started getting worried. And he said, I was looking at the speedometer. He said, sometimes you'd go 8 miles an hour, drop down to 5, up and down them hills, he said. And at times, he said, I tell the principal, stop. But I guess the principal kept telling him, oh, he's okay, he's a runner. And at times, I was going tired. I'd jump on top of the vehicle, kind of took a break, catch my wind. But as I was battling the storm, up and down them hills, I don't know what time, about 2 or 3 o'clock, the storm was dying down. I thought, well, maybe now he'll pick me up. Already then, my lungs were just burning. My legs were getting weak. And I turned around running backwards. And I guess there was a snowdrift. I fell on that snowdrift, and then the principal came and just about ran me over. Bernal gotten out of the vehicle, and he come and lift me up, and he says, your leg is bleeding. And I looked, blood was just squirting out of my leg. So I got into the station wagon. Bernal kind of took his coat and made a place for me to lay down, nursed my leg, put pressure on my leg, and away we went. Today's our second day of the walk for the residential school survivors and for the unmarked graves, and we're going to finish our walk today. And every residential school student that went to residential schools, we're all brothers and sisters right across our country, Canada, going east, west, north, and south. Any person that went to residential school, those are our brothers and sisters. And we feel the pain every time they find a grave. Us survivors, we feel the pain, because we were in there. As we said earlier, it's easy to talk about it from the outside, but to talk about it from inside is a total different. And each time we talk about it, it's a healing for us. Yeah, let's get ready. We're going to finish this walk. We have a few more kilometers to go. I didn't give up. I ain't giving up today either. Thank you. But anyway, as the years went by, after I left high school in 67, 68, I never seen Bernal after that. Then he came, I believe it was about 2010, there was a knock on the door up in Berens River, and there was Bernal. Welcome in, came then, we were having coffee. And then just before he was leaving, he says, Charlie, he says, I come to thank you. And I said, for what for? He says, remember that night? You ran all night. He said, that was my punishment you took for me. He said, you protected me. So he got up, hugged me. He said, "Thank you for doing this for me." And after he left, not very long after, or a year or so after, I heard that he passed on. But with his tree, I went west a few times and I stopped and looked at it. And then I phoned an elder, a friend of mine, Dave Pashane Jr., and I mentioned about that tree and about his incident. And he says to me, "You go back there and look at that tree and study it and read it." And he said, "There's a message on that tree." He said, "And it's you to interpret that tree, the message, what it is." But last fall, when I came, I looked at that tree. And it branched off to 4 directions: north, east, south, and west. And I started thinking of the residential schools. There was residential schools north, south, east, and west of our country called Canada. The trunk of that tree represents us as First Nation people. That we are a strong nation. We are all united. Under that tree are the roots. Right at the base are our ancestors. And as the roots are spreading out, growing, the tip of those roots are small, tiny, but they're pushing their way through the ground. And those are our future children, our children today. And I started thinking, as I was reading that tree, there are unmarked graves right across our country called Canada. Unmarked graves of children that never made it home, that died in residential schools, that were victims. But we are rooted down. They are rooted down to that trunk of that tree. No matter what the government done to us through the residential school system, we will never die out. We're rooted down to this land called Canada. No matter what the government has done to us to get rid of the First Nation people. I believe a lot of residential school survivors, victim and survivors, have never went to the fathom of their stories due to the hurt. Each time I talk about my residential school experiences, it's just like peeling a scab off your skin. It hurts. Hard to talk about it, the experiences we had. You cannot fathom the depth of what the students went through. I'm thankful that none of my children or grandchildren will never have this experience where the residential school victims felt. There was a purpose why it happened that night. And it took this many years for this purpose, the meaning why it happened to me. I was a victim and I survived. And me doing this, it's a healing journey for me now. Like I'm finally telling a story which I kept to myself for many years.
All right, he's zigzagging. Let's go, Tyler.